Now, of all the subjects that we could be talking about, this one's kind of like, it's like my jam. Like authority, I know. And the reason I know that is I was considered one of the top sword fighters in the world at one point. I was considered the #1 dating coach in the world for 3 years in a row. I am now considered one of the world's up-and-coming authorities on mergers and acquisitions. And I'm known as one of the top people for upsells, marketing, and sales. Completely different categories. And yet I am known as one of the top in all of these fields because I have one really cool skill set and I know how to develop authority. And it isn't about faking it. And this is the one piece that always cracks me up because I have people say to me all the time, how can I fake it? Like, how can I let everyone think I'm cool? And I was like, it doesn't work that way. You gotta be real. You gotta be authentic. Like, there's no point being the most well-known smoothie bar and juice bar in the world if your stuff tastes crap, right? That's just absolutely no point. So what I'd love to hear from each of you is, how have you gone about becoming an authority? And with specifically for these guys, to give them like some action steps. Like, so somebody sitting here right now is like, you know what? I want to be an authority in my space. I would say the first thing is you got to be authentic. It's got to be real. But assuming you guys are all real, what do they do next? Let's go back down the line. So John,
sure. Yeah. So my background is in computer science and technology. I've got over 60 U.S. patents that are focused in technology that are around fitness, speech recognition, hardware, software, wearables. So my authority, if you will, was kind of built based on just building product, making sure we got things done that got great reviews in the press or got written up, sold well. We actually started a company back in 2002 that was acquired by Adidas in 2009. It ended up staying with that brand for 10 years, pushing the envelope in terms of where we can go with increasing athlete performance and still stay injury free. So kind of build that up just by doing.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
So I actually started Fiesta. I'm also part of Koya. I'm a co-founder in Koya. And when the pandemic happened, we found ourselves having to pivot quite a bit. And I was on a platform called Lunch Club, and I kept meeting people who were moving to Austin, and they all had the same story. They could live anywhere, but they were choosing Austin, and they were startup founders. And I knew it was hard to move just in general away from family. So how do you help these individuals come together? And so I just kind of started one step at a time. And when we had our first event, it was back in 2021, October, and we had like 37. In our last event, we do it on a monthly basis. It's on the third Tuesday of every month at Capital Factory. So in January, we had 350 at our event, and we're powered by Koya. So that's how we kind of fit together. But authenticity is so important. I think I lead with genuineness and just being available to people. I think that people can sense out if you're taking versus giving. And so we lead with giving and being available to others.
Love that.
Nice. So to kind of piggyback on some of what was already said is, I think, to me, the biggest way to build authority quickly is through partnerships. So that kind of encompasses podcasting. It encompasses getting on stages that you're speaking at events with an audience that can benefit from what you have to offer, and you're providing additional knowledge, information to that audience. So just specific examples with Hotmart as a company. So how did we help to build authority in the U.S. market would be partnering with Billy Gina's Marketing, who's a big marketing guru out of San Diego. You're friends with him. And we basically work with folks like Adam too, to bring them to our events in Brazil and then kind of help to build the market awareness in the United States. And then on a personal level, how do I do it to build my authority? Because a lot of you are business owners out there, is to get on the stages, like I'm saying. So identify, sometimes it means going to those groups, being an audience member, and then speaking with the organizer and say, hey, I can speak on funnels, or I can speak on affiliate marketing. Would I be able to speak at your next event, and I can give this value to your audience? And then you slowly build that up over time. So you kind of pick different channels that you can kind of help to build your authority in, and then focus in those routes.
Awesome. So I guess kind of to touch on authenticity, for me, having a juice and smoothie bar, and opening one in an area where there are so many other juice and smoothie bars, a saturated market really, although Bastrop didn't have one. And that was a lot of my decision to go forward with the concept was I was living specifically in a community that had a need. And so I think part of being authentic is, as a business owner, you're providing a service, is the ability to intuit your customers' needs. And to let them know that you're doing that you're there for them, that you're trying to help them solve a problem that they may have or that they don't even realize that they have. And so then also quality consistency is really important. At this point, we have people coming into our bar and telling us that the quality of our product is every bit as good, if not better, than a lot of like the bigger businesses that are in the area. And so that's just been with the commitment to maintaining quality and consistency in our products and our services. So, yeah.
I love this. And I think, when we think about like, why do we want to be authority? Why do we want to have authority? You want to have authority so you're the person people come to solve a problem. And so I love what you said about that importance of understanding people's needs, because if you know what the needs are and you're focused on solving it, even if you only had an audience of 10 people, right? And we say, okay, your audience is really 12 people, but mom and dad don't count. So you've got 10 people that follow you on social media, but these 10 people really consider you're the authority. You're the person they go to. Well, if those 10 people are all willing to spend, say $1,000 a month on whatever it is that you're doing, when all is said and done, you're at $10,000 a month or $120,000 a year, which is much better than almost any basic job you could get. And if you double the amount of customers, you go from 10 to 20, it's 240,000, so on and so forth. And the money builds quite rapidly. For me, the key to authority, and there's some things that I'm doing right now that I think is going to be very important for everyone here. So let's really acknowledge that we've got AI. And up until AI was released, one way you could build authority was search engine optimization. You could make sure that when somebody went on Google and they searched for somewhere good in the area, they would find you. And authority became about social weight. When more people write about you, you get more reviews and what have you. That was a great way to go. And we all learned that Google does not give you the answer you want. I know it sounds crazy because we would go to Google to get the answer, but what we got was 7 ads, 1,728 pages, or a few million. And then we had to then filter through the results. With ChatGPT being used now as a search tool, if I say, where is a good juice bar in Bastrop? ChatGPT is going to give a single answer. And it's going to say, this is the juice bar in Bastrop. So authority nowadays is even more important because you can't come second in a world where ChatGPT exists, because second means you don't exist. So once upon a time, it was okay to be the 7th best juice bar in a town because somebody might scroll down and be like, well, the reviews above don't look the best, but this one here looks really good. In a world of ChatGPT, there are no other options. You are not being told anything else. In a world of paid advertising, ChatGPT could be trained to only state the person that paid the most amount of money. And this is a world where then authority becomes more important than ever. Because now we have to consider we may not be able to rely on online searching for business. That could be a thing. And so you have to ask yourself then, in whose mind is it important to be an authority? And I loved your answer, which is why I wanted to say, for Danielle's business, it's actually the mind of her customers. It's so important that however many customers walk in that store, walk out saying, this is the best smoothie place in Bastrop. There is no other that's worth going to. So as they write reviews and they interact, the AI picks up on that. And even if it doesn't, they're going to bring in customers themselves. And the way I've always developed authority is always been by being the absolute best at what I do. So, I have a private training. I charge $120,000 a year to train somebody privately. But when I work with them, I very rarely rarely have to tell them what they're going to get. I'm not like, oh, we're going to talk on the phone this many hours. We don't discuss hours. We don't discuss coaching or anything. I look at them and I say, so I'm not going to fail you. That's step one. And they're like, well, what am I going to get for that? You're going to get no failure. I was like, if I fail, you can just have your money back. Like if I actually fail you, like I'm not after that. I'm just going to succeed. So why don't we just write down what it is that we want to hit and we're going to make that happen.